after seeing what they did with John Cena's interview, which opened the show, can somebody go find The Rock and ball gag him, bind his hands behind his back, tied along with his brain up his ass? Why did he gave the most incredible babyface promo with the huge ovation with thank you Cena chants where he couldn't talk for minutes because it's his last time on SmackDown. And 3 months ago, they had him coming out and telling all the people to go piss up a rope. What the fuck was the matter with them now that I see this?
Remember when everyone jumped on me and said, this will all make sense? You're wrong. This is all good. You see, it got a big pop. Everyone's talking about it. It was not well thought out, not well done. Forget about Travis Scott, who was kind of in the middle of the whole thing. That didn't work out either. The Rock now looks like he's half the size that he was 6 months ago. So that ain't
he's half the man he used to be.
And apparently he's trying as hard as he can to be considered serious as an actor right now. It may be hard because everything you see him in, it's Dwayne Johnson trying to act. But he ain't going to be back anytime soon.
At the same point, though, now, since he's lost 50 pounds, we're sure of one thing, he ain't going to wrestle. And you know,
well, you could make him a babyface. If a bunch of heels beat up on the sickly-looking Rock, doesn't it make him a babyface?
But if I was the Rock and I could have gotten the shape that I was in as he's in, or you know what I'm saying, over the last year or two, I'd have had a goddamn match with Roman Reigns just to do a family member a fucking favor instead of trying to be the final boss and pissing everybody's post toasties. But anyway, back to Cena in the ring here. He even said, I've dodged roadblocks and pivots. But you guys, you know, I'm so grateful to Chicago for always being critical of him, but making him work for it. And he left it all out there on his final tour, and he put them over strong and talked about how they bring their power. They got the power. They bring people back, and the people start chanting AJ Lee, which was a brilliant little. I'm just saying, this was so well put together. It's his last time in Chicago, last time on SmackDown. It was 23 years ago in that very building, and I, of course, did not remember that, where he came down and slapped Kurt Angle. And he talked about the big matches in Chicago, but he got pops for each one of them. He wasn't somebody standing there saying, when I faced Oblivion J. Jones in Korakuen Hall in fucking Tokyo, and people are really. And he said Chicago was the greatest WWE crowd, and the people were left chanting, thank you, Cena. One of the great babyface promos of anybody's, history. And he said, thank you for the beautiful ride. And the music plays. It is Sami Zayn's music. It's that commie dirtbag Sami Zayn. Who could ever like him?
And seemingly no one. The fans were ready to boo him right away. Didn't it seem like that?
Well, because here's the thing. If you had played goddamn Tinkerbell's music and had the fairy come out and sprinkle fairy dust, they would have booed because they thought it was a turn coming. And it was great because you knew the guys in the ring knew that was going to happen, and they didn't fuck with them. They got their shit in and had a ball doing it because Sami Zayn can talk his ass off. Which, again, so fucking. I had him when he was a mute. Again, what is my timing? What is life? But that's the thing. As soon as his music came down, as he started to speak, they were booing the shit out of him because they just knew, oh my God, he's going to kick him in the balls or some shit, right? And Cena even said, it's happy hour in Chicago. I'm here for the booze. And then as Sami, they're booing him, but when he starts talking, at least they're not just doing the fake boo where they're trying to drown him out. It's where they're genuinely expressing displeasure at what they think he's going to do. But when he says, John, I want to say thank you from the boys in the back. Thank you for what you did for me. Now they started warming up a little bit. They were like, okay, well, now we don't know, but we'll just not shit on him right directly. And then little history, and I'm sure this is why they had this match. Again, I'm sure there's folks out there that will remember this happening fondly. I didn't even see it and didn't give a shit. But Sami's debut was apparently against John Cena for the U.S. title when Cena was doing the open challenge thing, right? So now he is the U.S. champion, and he wants to pay it forward. And he wanted to, introduce or institute the Sami Zayn U.S. Open Challenge. And John's like, I like the idea. Okay. And he starts to, do it. And he's going to leave. And Sami, not so quick. And now again, they're like, But then you can kind of tell by the demeanor, Sami wants to defend the U.S. title against Cena, to share a ring with him, to give him what he gave Sami years ago, a shot at the U.S. title. And now the crowd's roaring, yay, yes. And how about in Chicago? Yay. Right now, yes. I mean, the people are just throwing the babies and goddamn fondling themselves. And then Sami says, if you want some, the whole crowd says, come get some. And Cena milks it. And Sami's got his hand out. And Cena says, you're on. And they shake and they pop again. It was like, Jesus Christ, Brian, I'm just saying, how could you have done this any better than what they just did this?
I mean, in terms of setting up an angle for a match on the show between two baby faces, I guess they did it pretty good. It did seem like the fans were kind of ready to boo Sami. And I think there's something interesting there. I don't think it was just about someone's coming out here to confront Cena or talk to Cena. I think it may have been specific to Sami too. We have seen like kind of the pacifist pansy character for a long time. And I know they teased the idea that like Karrion Kross was trying to get to his soul and change him back to who he's supposed to be. And I think there was a
unemployed?
I think there was a segment of the fan base that was kind of like getting behind that. And then Karrion Kross is gone and we're just right back to Sami being, again, the pacifist pansy.
So you think maybe some people who like Sami were like, oh shit, if he turned heel, he'd get a bigger push.
I think there is some of that too, because there is a dedicated Sami Zayn fan base that like think he should be the world champion. But it did seem like they were ready to boo Sami, and he had to kind of work overtime to get them to not boo him. And again, he wasn't going to kick him in the balls or anything. So now with that said, I thought it was a really intriguing segment. And like you alluded to at the top, when I watch SmackDown or Raw, I'm just always waiting for the ball to drop. I'm always waiting for like, something's going to happen and this is going to become unwatchable anytime now. And they kept my attention throughout this. And I was very curious to see how they're going to do the match, because I don't think Cena's going to win the U.S. title. Is Cena going to put over Sami? I mean, that'd be an interesting move on his way out before the Brock match. And then, of course, we got the match. But I thought it was a really good angle.
Well, and that's the thing is that, I'm sorry, but it's just obvious. They have a large crowd that knows everything that's going on because it's simple enough to keep the basics of the people that you like in your head rather than this constant chaos that you get other places. And it's stars and it's people that are recognized, and it's a show that's produced well, and details are not forgotten. And now you got two baby faces, but they're just amped to see Cena's last match in Chicago, and still what's going to happen? You don't know.